in history, all 4 belts in the cruiserweight division will belong proudly around the waist of one man.
Okay, people, Wingy Boxing, IFL TV, MTK Global. I'm here with the main man, Tony Bellew. What's going on, Tony?
I'm okay, thanks, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. Just trying to do my little apprentice thing here. I'm the young Coogan student, so to get you is a very good scoop.
Thank you very much.
I know it's a cliche question, but training going good, hard, and
yeah, I'm pushing myself really hard. I've been sparring for a number of weeks, nearly a month, I think it is. So I'm way ahead of where I'd usually be at this part of camp, but I'm at this stage because I've been out the ring so long. That's why we've brought things forward. So I'll leave it to the coach. Listen, if I designed a training program and a game plan, it would probably consist of watching many hours of TV. It wouldn't be boxing, and it would consist of a diet that I'm not on at the moment. So that's why I have the coach who looks after things like that for me. So I'm in fantastic shape. I really am. Considering I'm 7 weeks on Saturday out, 8 weeks just gone, I would say I could do 12 rounds in another 2 weeks. I'd be ready to fight a 12-round fight.
Where's your mind at the moment? Sort of like, do you think about the fight, or do you go home, turn off, and only when you come in? Do you know what I mean? Are you sort of amped?
I always think about the fight.
Yeah, every boxer's different. I speak to some people.
A lot of them tell lies as well.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, I think about the fight all the time. I think about the what can happen. I think about the dangers. I think about the game plan constantly. I think about what's he gonna do, what am I gonna do, what happens when I do this, what happens when he does that. You usually find I just say what's on my mind. So that's what I think all the time. Yeah. So I never go more than 30-40 minutes a day without thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah. Comes in my mind. Listen, this is what I train for. So, you know, it's barely 30 or 40 minutes until I'm doing my next session. So
I've got you, yeah.
I'm training for that, so ultimately it's going to be on my mind. When I'm eating food out of my Tupperware tubs, I'm eating it out of the Tupperware tub because of this fight. So when I'm eating, I'm thinking about the fight because that's when I'm eating that food. So it's just natural progression to always have that on my mind. Some people would say that's unhealthy, and some people say you can't switch off. I'd say the only time I truly switch off is the weekend when I get back home and I see my kids.
That's what I was just about to ask you. How does that impact your family life? Is that when you like switch
nice.
off? If you're always on it, always thinking about it,
it's hard. It's very hard, and it's hard to spend quality time with them because they want, like, okay, this weekend, let's just say I got home on Friday, I was completely exhausted. I done the hardest boxing session I could do in here on the Friday. I sparred really well on the Thursday, so I got home on the Friday, and I literally went from here straight to Finch Farm at Everton. I got in the cryo chamber. I went straight from the cryo chamber where my body should be half recovered, but it weren't and didn't work. I went straight to do my second session, which was a leg weight session, which was extremely hard. I got home for about, well, actually I know exactly what time I got home. I got home because it was World Book Day, and I got home, my little boy was dressed up, so I was home by 3:30 because I had to see him come out in his outfit, because I didn't get to see him go to school because I'd been away all week, so I got to see him come home. So by 3:30 I was spent. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to do the Saturday session. I did do it. That was a treadmill sprint, was on a Saturday. I was that tired. Friday night I went to give trophies out at the club show that I'm part of. It's under ABC, and I was that tired. I drove there from my house, and it takes about 15 minutes to get to where the show was from my house. And when I got there, I didn't remember the route I took.
Right.
That's how tired I was. That's the best way of explaining it. But listen, this is camp. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Speaking
of family, I remember you saying, I think it might have been for the David Haye fight, the first one, that you wanted to give the missus a really nice wedding.
Yeah.
What's the situation now?
That takes place this year.
Yeah, right, okay.
So,
okay.
And it's cost a fortune.
So the second fight will be for the for the honeymoon, then, yeah?
If it costs what the wedding cost, it's going to be no honeymoon.
You've been with her from the start, is that right?
Yes, I've been with her 16 years. So it'll be 17 years in October this year. So yeah, it's been a long time.
What does she think of all this?
She wants me to stop.
Okay.
So.
But obviously the money.
I haven't come this far to stop now. I haven't come this far to quit now, I can't do it. You know what the crazy thing is? I'm not going to lie, yes, it is about the money as well, but that's not all it's about. It's always the fact of, I'm purely doing this fight to prove people wrong again.
Okay.
That's the only reason I'm doing this fight. And also, I gave him my word after the fight. I told him in the ring, I'll give you the rematch, as long as it was on my terms. And I wouldn't say I got all my own way in the terms and conditions, but, you know, Eddie made sure I'm getting the figure that I was looking at, so I'm happy about.
You're happy in that situation?
Yeah, I'm happy in that situation, and also it lets me do what I originally wanted to, prove everyone wrong. So when I beat him again, there's no excuses, there's no whatever it is, but it's a dangerous fight, mate, and it's a fight that everyone wants to see, and I suppose people do want to see if it was a fluke. Did Tony Bellew outlast David Haye last time only because of the injury? We'll find out on me. See,
this is awesome, because I'm in front of Tony Bellew, and obviously I'm on social media, people say certain things. I can ask you now, what do you feel when people say fluke, it was a fluke?
I don't mind. Everyone's entitled to the
because when the fight started, he was having issues, wasn't he? Like,
of course. He was in the build-up, I said he went to Germany doing whatever, but listen, when he started the fight, according to him, he was going to do me in 2 rounds. When the fight started, he was throwing punches fine. He just couldn't catch me clean. He was getting countered. I showed quicker reflexes than him. I showed better speed and variation than him. He just looked like a crazy gunslinger who wants to knock me out.
Right.
So, the people who say you only won because he got injured, well, why didn't he do me in the first 2 rounds? Because he wasn't injured until the 6th round. And it was at the end of the 5th round I told him it's my turn to take over this fight now. My plan, you know, was I told it in the media. I said in the end his body will break down on him, and I said it all the way through. People kind of called me Houdini. How did it happen? You said it. It's not. It's just. I'm not saying that I know exactly what's going to happen. I definitely can't predict the future. All as I can tell you is I weigh up his pros and his cons, and then I also add up how long he's been out the ring for. And boxing isn't a sport you can just play around with. A fighter will find that out soon enough. If you take 2 years out the ring and then come back into a fight, I don't class his first 2 fights as fights. They were exhibitions, let's be honest. I mean, Mark Damori, the first ever YouTube trained fighter, and then we've got Arnold, the maggot, Giraj, they fell over. And I actually said to David in the build up to that fight, you wouldn't employ them as sparring partners, and he laughed and he said, no, I wouldn't. I said, well, that says it all. You know, when you're at this level of boxing, you've got to fight similar kind of opposition. So in my opinion, David should have came back against somebody, I don't know, someone who was a decently ranked world fighter but had 4 or 5 losses on the record.
I got you, yeah.
But he didn't want to do that, and he doesn't want to mess around with any kind of dangerous heavyweight. So Big Mouth here pipes up, doesn't he? I get the fight that I wanted, and David looks at me as if I'm an easy stepping stone, a little fat cruiserweight. So I think he got a shock when the realisation when I stood in front of him. At that very first press conference, when I stood in front of him, he thought, he isn't that small after all. I'm not that small. And then when it got to the fight, he soon realised he's been in with a fighter for the first time in his whole career that can make him miss. David Haye fights guys, they can't make him miss. They stand right in front of him, he hits them on the chin, they go down. He's amazing at what he does. I'm not detracting anything from David Haye's career. He's an amazing fighter and an outstanding athlete. But make no mistake, he's been great against fighters he's chosen to face, not fighters. When was the last time David faced a mandatory challenger? When was the last time David faced a fighter who he didn't pick? He likes to fight guys straight up with the hands up. That isn't me.
Do you feel that sort of the way he was sort of missing early on? Do you think it's going to be a bit sharper?
Yeah, definitely.
This time around?
He'll be sharper.
Because was he just going for the knockout, do you think?
Yeah, he thought he was just going to touch me on the chin and put me asleep.
Right.
I really do think that. And a part of him will still believe he can do that. Which he's got every right to believe that. If David Haye hits me clean with the right hand in the first 3 rounds of this fight, it's clean, I'm going down.
He's a lot more humble now, remember?
Yes, Bellew's humbled him. He's about as humble as Madonna.
Right.
If he hits me clean with the right hand, I'm going down. But there's another side to that coin. If I hit him clean with the left hook, he's going down too, because he's just as vulnerable as me. I'm not. I'm a realist. I'm not a fancy. You never really see fighters say, "Yeah, I can go down, I can get knocked out." Of course, I can go down and get knocked out. I've been down. I've been stopped on my feet. It happens. It's boxing, especially when you're at the level that I'm at with guys like David Haye. So I'm always prepared for everything that can happen. These are the things that cross my mind when I'm alone, when I'm in the hotel. They go to me, what am I going to do if I go down? I go over it and over it and over it. What am I going to do when I get him hit? What shots am I going to look for? It's keep repeating it in my mind, keep telling myself what I'm going to do, and then when it happens, or if it does happen, I'm prepared. I'm always prepared. There's no outcome that can happen in a boxing ring. The only thing I wasn't prepared for was David Haye's Achilles.
I was just about to ask that. You just read my mind, because the look on your face when that happened. What went through your mind? You was like,
at first I just thought he'd gone over on his ankle or something, and then I thought it'll get better. And it never crossed my mind that he'd done his Achilles. I just thought he'd rolled his ankle.
Right, something like that. Yeah.
Because I thought if he's done his Achilles, he couldn't still be throwing punches. And let's get something straight. David Haye didn't snap his Achilles. If he snapped his Achilles, he wouldn't have been able to walk. David Haye was still throwing clean punches at me, trying to knock me out from rounds 6 all the way to round 11. David Haye was still very heavy-handed in rounds 6 to 11. He was still very fast in rounds 6 to 11. So this big thing of, Tony Bellew fought a man on one leg. Well, a man can't walk on one leg. That's just not possible. So
do you find that, I know I already asked you this, but do you find it insulting because of the work you put in?
No.
You're right with
at
that?
All. No, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I don't give it a second thought. I just think to everybody who says Tony,
that's a good attitude,
beating on one leg, all as I think about is, well, why didn't he put me in a coma in 2 rounds like he said? That's all I say to these people. And then people can't actually give me an answer.
Okay.
So to everybody who says I only beat him on one leg, why didn't he knock me out in the 2 rounds that he said? Why didn't he put me in a coma like he said? Why didn't he? Why am I having another British Boxing Board controlled sanctioned fight when he said that would be my last one? So all these questions you people spin at me and say, he done this, why didn't he comatose me in 2 rounds?
Mentally, what's changed from 2010 Tony Bellew, who faced Bob Adjusave?
2010,
yeah,
wow.
who faced Bob Adjusave, to the Tony Bellew now, mentally.
8 years, that's what's happened. What's happened?
Have you still got that fire? You know, like when you used to get up in the ring corner and like... Oh.
Yeah.
It's still there, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's what worries me. I need to go soon.
Right, I got you.
If it doesn't go, then I'm going to carry on. I don't want.
I was just about, you'll keep going.
Yeah, and I don't want to be carrying on going, chasing something that I can't get anymore. So.
Have you matured as a fighter since then, would you say?
Definitely, I'm much cleverer. I'm a much cleverer fighter. I've learned from the mistakes I've made. I believe I definitely used to overtrain at times. Making weight was obviously the wrong move and a disaster, but looking back in hindsight, I learned an awful lot in that part of my career, in the first half of my career at cruiserweight, light heavyweight. So the difference between me and 2010, did you say, or 2010?
Bob Adjusave.
Yeah, Bob Adjusave. I think that might have been the first time I went 12 rounds.
Yeah.
I've just become a more mature fighter, and then I've also, I moved to a different coach after fighting over again. So at that time I was still under my first professional boxing coach, and I'll be honest, no disrespect to him, but I probably went backwards from the fighter I was as when I was an amateur.
Really?
Yeah, because I stopped doing the basics. I was with a man who couldn't teach me the basics no more. And you should never ever forget the basics in boxing. So I went back to Rotunda and I worked on the basics, and then that took me as far as I could get the WBC title shot against Adonis Stevenson. And then I came to Dave because I needed to learn new things. I needed to have a different approach to boxing. I'd trained 6 days a week, twice a day, every single day when I was in camp. 3 sessions if you included a 5.5 to 6 mile run that I used to do every single morning to make light heavyweight. So
that was a struggle for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. So when I came to Dave, I learned so much more about myself, from the training perspective to the boxing wise. I added things to my game, and you can actually see them if you look back through the fights. The first fight with Dave was Valery Brudov, who was I think 45-6 or something like that. Yeah. 45 wins, 6 defeats. I stopped him in the 12th round. You can actually see the progression from each fight, and the difference in my style, the way it's going. I'd say the only bad fight where it didn't do as me told was in them first few fights was the Nathan Cleverly rematch, because I just couldn't believe he tried to have a boxing match with me. So that took me by surprise. That's one of the... I very rarely get caught out when I'm in fights, because I prepare for every possible thing that can happen in the ring. But then, in a couple of occasions in my career, something crazy's happened. So in the Nathan Cleverly fight, him trying to box me was one thing, and I could never anticipate. Him trying to put me on a jab was something I could never have anticipated. I never planned, I never trained for it, I never anticipated it. David Haye, his Achilles going in the 5th. I just couldn't, I never anticipated David just being sat on ropes trying to counterpunch me. I always expected he's going to keep pressing me through the fight. So I couldn't anticipate that. I anticipate a different fight next time, but some things that happen in boxing that you can't anticipate and you can't prepare yourself for. When that happens, I've been able to find a way to carry on winning. So experience, linking up with a fantastic coach.
You always have words of
maintaining a discipline in myself, and ultimately from that I've always believed. Even when people laughed at me and joked at me, they've always made it. I've always believed in myself.
You've always had like high words of praise and respect for Dave Coldwell. Every time you speak about him, where does that respect come from? Is it simply the training techniques that he gives you, or is it the?
I got in this game because of him. I got in the professional game because of Dave Coldwell. Right. People don't realise that.
No.
Dave Coldwell got me signed with Frank Warren. I'd asked the fighter in Liverpool to help me out and get Frank Warren to sign me at a time, and I had no response or no reply. He didn't want to sign me. And I found out many years later, basically the fighter I asked to help me to get me signed up didn't do anything besides say that I wouldn't make light heavyweight and I was lazy.
Brilliant.
So that was a good start.
That's a great start, yeah.
When your mates are supposed to have helped you and they shoot you in the foot like that. So
he still mates with that guy now. I bet he's your mate after you saw him in Creed, didn't he?
Doesn't go down well, does it? But you know, you learn to forgive, forget and move on, but then it so sticks with your mind. But then what happened is Mick Hennessy come to me, Tony Sims and Mick Hennessy come to me, and they tried to sign me and they offered me a deal, and it just didn't make sense. I was earning a couple of £1,000 a month as an amateur boxer for my country going around the world, and as a trainee accountant for me city council on an elite scholarship scheme. So I was trying to weigh it up, and they offered me a tiny bit more than I'd earned then, and it didn't matter as an amateur because win, lose or draw I got paid.
Yeah.
As a professional you take a big gamble and a risk on yourself. So my missus was pregnant, and I come up here and I was training in the GB squad in Sheffield, and I went to Dave Coldwell's gym, and it wasn't this gym, it was his old one. Where was your old gym? City Centre?
What, you first came to?
Yeah.
It was just up the road. Well,
it was just up the road for me. It was a shithole. Yeah. It was freezing cold, but it was a proper boxing gym. It felt like a Rocky gym kind of thing. You. Spitting sawdust, brilliant. I went in, I sparred a kid, and he was a hard pro, and I must have done a proper good job on him, because Dave immediately, as soon as that sparring session finished, said to me, "Why aren't you a professional?" I said, "I asked for someone to give me help and get me a leg up, just get me in with promoters." And I told Dave about the offer from Mick Hennessy and Tony Sims, and he said to me, "Listen, I'm going to speak to someone and I'm sure they'll beat that offer." And he phoned Frank Warren.
Didn't know this.
No, he phoned Frank Warren direct on the phone, right there in front of me, and that's when you know you've met a good person, because he had no need to phone Frank Warren in front of me. He had no need to make that phone call and help me the way he did, because he was gaining nothing from. All he was doing was helping me. And the next day, I went up to Frank Warren's office, because Dave's recommendation on the phone was, "I've found you a TV fighter." They were the exact words he said to Frank Warren, and I heard him say that on the phone. And then they put Frank O'Dean on the phone to me and said, "Can you come up tomorrow?" And we went up there the next day. My dad drove me up there to London. Went in, met Frank, and he doubled the offer. I told him the offer Mick Hennessy gave me Tony Sims, and he just doubled it, and he gave me a signing on fee, and that's how it began. And if at that time in life, my only regret then was I should have had Dave train me then.
Right, I get.
But don't get me wrong, if he would have trained me then, number one, he wouldn't have agreed with light heavyweight. He wouldn't have let me go down there, because he used to say to me, "You shouldn't be doing this." He wouldn't let me go down to light heavyweight. And then number two, I'd have probably been bankrupt from how much it cost me to live up here.
I got you.
So everything happens, and I'm a firm believer is things do happen at certain parts of your career for a reason. The minute I knew my light heavyweight thing was coming to an end, like I knew before I got in the ring with Donna Stevenson that was going to be my last ever fight at light heavyweight. My plan was to beat Donna Stevenson and fight Bernard Hopkins at a catchweight. I always think ahead.
I got you, yeah.
But I don't say it out loud, because this could be my last fight. So I always wanted Dave as part of my training team, and Dave come to Canada with me. Dave was always part of my team, my boxing team, as soon as I left Manchester. So the minute I came home back to Liverpool to Mick McAllister at Rotunda and Mark and stuff, Dave was part of my team, and I always knew for the second half of my career, and I also knew Dave had experience with cruiserweights. He'd been part of the Haymaker camp. He had vast experience that he gained from the Ingle camp because he'd grown up well amongst the Ingles. So people, I'm a firm believer in anyone these days can become a boxing coach, and everyone's a bleeding PT. You know, the amount of people I see taking PTs and the amount of people I see running amateur boxing gyms, and they haven't got a clue. And it's dangerous because these young kids are putting all the physical abilities in charge of these guys, and these guys have got no experience whatsoever. And it's worrying and frightening. Now, I always look at a coach, who did he learn off?
Right, yeah.
Who taught him? What did he do? And I always done that through my career, and like I said, the first part of my professional career, no disrespect, but he didn't learn off the... I look back at it and I made a mistake going there at the start, but then when I came home, I had a great coach in Mick McAllister. He learned from the best in Jimmy Albertina, an amazing coach, an amazing man, the best I've ever met. He's sadly not with us no more, but the best coach and man I've ever met in boxing. And then once I was with Dave, I can track back how Dave's learned. So I look, Dave has had great teachers in front of him, so the likes of a Brendan Ingle. He spent time around Adam Booth, you know, the Haymaker camp. So it's not only has he been around good coaches, he's been around world-class fighters.
So he's had all that experience and passing it down to...
He's prepared fighters for championship fights. He's been part of big events before I came to him. So when I phoned Dave wasn't training fighters no more. He'd stopped training. I said, listen, would you come back and train me? And I think Dave was a bit apprehensive because after I'd lost to Adonis Stevenson, I was in the club of like, why would anyone touch me? I'm a disaster waiting to happen. But I said to Dave, when I go to cruiserweight, people will see a difference. I can punch, I can take anybody out in the cruiserweight with just one punch. I know I can. And I think it was after he'd worked with me for a couple of weeks and he's seen the kind of desire that I have and the way I push myself. Because everyone who looks at me, they think, does Tony Bellew train as hard as he does? Does he do this? Does he do that? But I ain't met a person more driven than me. I've met loads of better athletes.
Why do you think people think that?
Because they look at me as athleticism, they look at me aesthetically how I look, they look at me how I actually look, me physique, and they think, he hasn't got six packs, he hasn't got big muscles, he mustn't be all that.
I have the same problem, mate, but I'm flexing underneath here, brother.
So I never get looked upon as like this brilliant athlete or fighter, but just try and get someone to come in the gym and live with me, and then see how I train. I prepare. I don't leave any stone unturned. I prepare perfectly. I do everything right. Everything that he asks me, I do, and more. And I've never schemed away from anything. So I see the young lads come in today. So there's like Jordan Gill's here today, an immensely talented fighter. If Jordan Gill can live the life I've lived for the last decade of my life, I promise you now, he can be a multiple weight world champion. Mm-hmm. So because he has way more ability than me, he's a far better athlete than me. It's just about the little things of, can you live it?
When I saw him in the Cunningham fight, I'm like,
he's a perfectly hidden gem. But you see, he has all the ability. Jordan just needs an opportunity. So he's had a little bit of an opportunity on this one, and it will keep going up. We're going to see him on May the 5th. He'll be out again. Fighters just need opportunities, and then you look at other fighters. Like I remember when Gavin Jamie first come to this gym, so it used to just be me on my own.
Yeah.
Then Gavin Jamie McDonald come in. Gavin will be the first to tell you, Gavin ain't talented or Gavin ain't thingy, but Gavin McDonald, probably out of all of us, listens to the coach and does exactly what he says to a T. Like I don't do everything he says to a T because I'm a bit mentally soft. I'd say retarded, but that's not a nice word. I'm a bit of a dope. There's times when I want to listen, but I get me emotions get the better side of me, and I think, bleep it, and then go, let's have it.
Would you say that happened when the Achilles heel went? And then you went,
I just went for
you went swinging.
I just went for the swing.
Because obviously I'm not a coach, but I'm thinking,
how stupid was it when you see someone's Achilles go, why didn't I just stand off him and just jab the head off him?
Yeah.
Because I could have just made it, but instead I see the red.
That's not for me to say, obviously.
Yeah, no, but it's a fact. Why did I see red? He's hurt himself and I see the red mist. It doesn't make sense. I should have seen him hurt himself, put him on a jab and just go, let's just win easy.
Yeah.
But no, once again, my emotions get involved and I go, I'm going to knock him out now. And that's the last thing I should have done, because I could have made that fight over in 2 rounds had I have just set my attacks up like we prepared for in camp. But like I say, silly bollocks me gets involved in a scrap, and then I'm actually giving him an opportunity to knock me out, because don't get me wrong, David Haye could still have knocked me out when he incurred that injury. He was still heavy-handed. He'd still buzzed me numerous times. Like, don't get me wrong, I know he likes to say I didn't put a dent in him, I didn't buzz him, I didn't do anything. David Haye felt my punches, believe you me. When I hit him in the first round with that left hook, his legs done a bit of a Bambi dance, the silly braids dangled round, and he felt the left hook. No two ways about it. Don't get me wrong, I felt some of his right hands. I'm not gonna lie, he punches very, very hard. But so do I.
Speaking of red mist, I've got to take you back to this moment. We've all had times in the past which we're embarrassed of. You know I'm going to have to say it.
I've got many of them, so which one are you going to name? Because I've got so many, there's a long list.
You fucking rat. What went through your mind at that moment? Because that is a legendary, but in social media, in boxing circles, for us hardcore, that is a legendary moment.
Do you know? Yeah, but you know what people always say? But
was it the weight? I thought it was the weight.
No, it's nothing to do with the weight, and it wasn't even my fault. He said to me, I will get up now and take you in the car park right now. They were the way, and then boom, I'm out my chair, and then the silly words came.
That Tony's gone now, though, isn't he?
It's not gone.
Oh, right, okay.
You prompt me enough, mate, and it can react real quick. I mean, if you tell me you want to go downstairs and get up, I probably won't say rat. I'll probably just attack. But
I'm a fast runner for a big guy.
You'd have to be very quick. I'm in decent shape right now.
All right, yeah, you're in good shape actually. You're fighting shape.
So I responded and reacted. When I look back, do I regret it? Absolutely not. No. Because if any man is going to challenge me to take me in a car park, it's going to happen.
And that's the fighter in you, isn't it?
That's me, mate. I don't care. Don't think because Tony Bellew's on camera, Tony Bellew's on telly. Don't think because Tony Bellew's been in a movie. Mate, if you challenge me and tell me you're going to take me in a car park, well, you better do something, because I'm going the car park.
What about Xbox or PlayStation? I'm a bad boy on them, brother.
You know what reminds me of when people beat me on FIFA?
FIFA, yeah.
And they start insulting me because my name's Bomber Bellew on the FIFA on the PlayStation. Shouldn't have told us that to the camera, but it is.
I'll take it off if you're bad.
And no, it's okay. Don't worry. I'll leave it on, because when I actually win, it actually makes it better. So Bomber did beat you, yeah.
Is that how you play FIFA?
Yeah, I played FIFA, and my son was playing on my FIFA profile, and he said, "Dad, these people are swearing at me through the telly. I fucking battered you, Bomber. You Bomber, you tit." It was me 12-year-old son. Right. But he's now got his own profile, which I've created, which cost me even more.
Yeah, I got you. Right, I'll let you go soon. Just a quick question. Tell me about the Deontay Wilder fight. Did you catch that with Luis Ortiz? What did you think of that fight? What did you think of the
thought he showed immense
adversity,
amount of heart. Thought he trained through a massive amount of adversity. I thought he'd done fantastic. I thought he'd done absolutely brilliant. I'd take my hat off to Deontay Wilder, because if I was Deontay Wilder, I would never have even fought him. Yeah. So, and I said this, what's the world coming to when a WBC heavyweight champion of the world is forced to face a drugs cheat?
Yeah.
It's wrong. It's wrong. So, this is why I made this.
And Canelo, the whole Canelo thing, isn't it?
People have asked me about this comment. And people keep messaging me on Twitter, why don't you make a comment on Deontay Wilder, or sorry, on Canelo Alvarez? And the reason I haven't made a comment is because no one cares. And every time I make a comment, it falls on deaf ears. No one does anything about it. So what do you want me to say? I still stand by the exact same stance. They should all be banned for life. If someone's failed for nailed on drugs, you've been injecting steroids, you should be banned for life. That's it.
Because there was confusion over the Lucas Brown thing, wasn't it? The first thing you said, it was a bit suspect.
I do, and I'm kind of like that over the Canelo Alvarez one, because this guy's never failed a drug test in his life. He's failed on clenbuterol, which is it's got a murky kind of past. It doesn't make sense for a fight to be taking it, in all honesty. But then I look into the history of it and I read up a little bit on it, and it does enhance muscle performance, it does enhance muscle growth, muscle mass, lean muscle mass, and it also does aid fat loss. So, but let's be honest, is Canelo fat? No. And then Lucas Brown passed a drug test 2 days before the fight, and then the day after he fails a drug test. So it didn't sit right with me, that, I'll be honest. But, you know, he failed another one. And he failed on a drink that he took over the counter, so he's just an idiot, isn't he? That's all he is. He's just a plant pot, stupid boy.
And Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua, what are your thoughts on that fight?
Mega fight, innit?
Yeah.
Mega fight.
Do you think Parker's been overlooked a bit? Because he's not...
Listen, if that fight goes past 8 rounds, it's a hard fight.
Right, I agree.
Anyone who goes past 8 rounds with Anthony Joshua, it's a hard fight, because that means they're very, very... it's like Carlos Takam was a harder fight than it should have been because of one thing and one thing only: Carlos Takam's durability. That's the only reason that fight was hard.
Right, okay.
Because Anthony boxed at his own pace. He done what he wanted. With Joseph Parker, after 8 rounds, he's not going to be able to it's not going to be all Anthony Joshua, but for the first 8 rounds, it is going to be all Anthony Joshua, and it's going to be at his pace. It's going to be dictated when he wants to do it. I don't think Joseph Parker can take what Anthony can dish out. But, you know, I didn't think Carlos Takam was going to be able to take what Anthony can dish out.
What do you think of that stoppage?
I think it was wrong. I think it was unjust.
I thought it was a bit too soon.
I think it was unfair, but then there's a flip side to it. I don't want to see Carlos Takam hurt, and he wasn't winning the fight.
Yeah.
He was getting hurt all the way through it. He'd been down on the floor. He'd been rocked numerous times. I think it should have been stopped 2 rounds earlier. So, don't get me. At the time it was stopped, no, I didn't agree with the stoppage, but I don't want to see a fighter get hurt.
Of course, yeah.
And then people go on to me about, oh, well, you said this about Kell Brook, and said, no, I stated, and fighters getting saved and stuff like that. Now, what I say is, I don't want to see no fighter get hurt. And I think it's very good that a fighter knows he's got a switch off point. I ain't got it. I wish I did.
You keep going, yeah.
I can't stop.
You took a bit of stick over those Kell Brook comments.
I did, yeah, but I can't detract from them. Listen, if someone, I've had my nose broke many times, I've broke my hands many times. If someone does my eye socket, touch wood, they don't. But if someone does mine, I will tell you categorically right now, you better put me asleep, because I can't take a knee. Because if I take a knee, I can't go home, and I couldn't put my head down on the
You say can't go and live with yourself. Sort
yeah,
of thing.
I can't do it. And
even over your eye health.
I'm sorry, but I can't.
Is that the fighter's mentality that people like me won't?
No, it's not.
Understand.
I'm not trying to be a tough guy.
No.
I'm not a tough guy. I'm not harder than anyone else. But what I'm saying to you
I think
is,
it's fair to say you're a tough guy.
I just can't do it, mate.
Yeah.
It eats me up inside. Like, my nose got snapped in Goodison Park in the first round against McCarby. He puts me on my back and he snaps my nose. I didn't know what to do. But I know one thing that I am going to do. I'm going to get up. Oval Mackenzie puts me flat on my face. You've just got to get up. I don't know. And I'm not saying anything wrong with Kell Brook. No. But I'd rather be him and have a button where I go, I've had enough here. I've had enough, enough's enough, and stop. But I just can't do that. I don't detract anything from him as a fighter. I think he's an amazing fighter. I think he's a world class. Kell Brook has the potential to be an elite level fighter. If he's not, it'll only be through his own doing.
Yeah.
But I just can't do it, mate. I can't do it, and I can't. Fight, you know, no problem when a trainer saves you and stuff like that. I can't knock that. That's a trainer's job to say. You're like, Dave knows the situation with me. Dave knows. I tell him, I employ Dave to do a job. I pay the referee to do a job. That's to keep me safe.
Yeah. Because
I can't keep myself safe.
Okay.
I'm a danger to myself, and and there's no ways. This is why boxing scares me. If I was someone who had a button on my back where I can go, I've had enough. I'm going to take a knee now. I've just had enough. I wouldn't fear boxing as much as I do. If I had that switch where I could go, enough's enough. But I haven't, and I can't do that, and I'll never have that, and that's why I'm scared of carrying on fighting. But I do it because I'm nuts.
Tony Bellew, WBC Cruiserweight Champion.
Yeah.
Creed star.
Just once. Maybe again, you never know.
Thank you for giving me the shot and the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Don't be soft, mate. No,
it means a lot. It does mean a lot, man.
I wish I could answer everyone's questions.
Of course,
I'm sure
yeah.
they have loads, but I might actually do something tonight to try and answer them. But I'm sick of social media, because social media has now just turned into a place that gives cowards a voice, and where they can insult people, and I find it very hard, especially after I watched that poor lad who passed away.
Yeah.
It was absolutely heartbreaking. That done me for a good 8 to 9 days. I didn't post nothing on social media for over a week, because I just thought about. I watched that lad's interview after his fight, and what Scott Westgard said after that fight at the ringside just broke me heart. It really did break me heart. And then you see fighters having to put up and defend themselves with stick off cowards on social media. All as I'll say is, have you ever had a coward come up and say that to your face? Have you ever had these people who create these online names and make all these names? Please just come and tell me when you see me, because there's no good in telling me on social media, because I just don't look at it, or it just like flash to the end, and I look at people who follow. So that's the only thing I look at, people who follow on my social media. So if you've got something to say to me and you're one of them guys with a fake username or password, kiss my nuts.
And he's a unit as well, because I walked through the door and thought, oh, bloody hell, it's bigger than I was expecting.
I'm bigger than they expect.
Yeah, that's what
Everyone
I thought,
says
all
that
through
to
the
me.
door.
It's not I go to match and every week they go, Jesus Christ, you're bigger than I thought. I say, no, I just slept in a grow bag last night.
Tony Bellew, thank you for speaking to IFL TV. And
Dave Coldwell says he gets that a lot.
thank you for speaking to IFL TV and Wingy Boxing, I appreciate it.
Keep watching, guys.
Time in history, all 4 belts in the cruiserweight division will belong proudly around the waist of one man.